Well, if it's Wednesday, it's time for another episode of the About Mansfield Consumer Advice Series. And today, uh, when I worked back in radio and was producing talk shows, my boss used to send me little notes. And then one of the notes I remember was always timely and topical. And that's what we have today, is a timely and topical topic. As we bring in our trademark attorney, Susana Mahady. First of all, say hello to the Mansfieldians.
Hello, Mansfieldians.
And today's topic is trademarks and the Super Bowl. Without the frog in the throat. The Super Bowl.
Your voice is cracking.
Yeah, well...
happens when you hit puberty.
Because I'm so excited about this this topic, Super Bowl and trademarks. And well, first of all, did you watch the Super Bowl? Okay, all right.
I did not.
I didn't tune in until about halfway through the third quarter. I missed the halftime and I missed the entire first half. But be that as it may, let's talk about the NFL. Let's talk about the Super Bowl. Let's talk about whether it should be called the Super Bowl or the big game, as people call it. And let's just go ahead and jump right in.
Well, first, I want to say I didn't watch the Super Bowl because I was in Mexico and the TVs in the bars were competing with some type of like a fight. So I think in Mexico, those types of sporting events are more important than the Super Bowl. But in any event, so the Super Bowl, as you know, is one of the most watched events on television. I believe over 100 million people tune in every year. And as you can imagine, the Super Bowl makes a lot of money with their advertisements. And so one of the things that we all need to recognize is that the term Super Bowl is actually a registered trademark, and the NFL has registered that and is very protective of that brand because it's used obviously as one of their biggest revenue generators by having sponsors and selling ads during the Super Bowl. And just to give you an example of the amount of money that we're talking about, and this is just from past Super Bowl events, Amazon spent over $44 million for a 90-second ad. Pepsi's been known to spend more than $30 million just for 30 seconds. TurboTax is like $40 million. As you know, Anheuser-Busch spends a lot. I think they've spent over $53 million for ads.
I think Jesus spent $7 million.
Yeah, some of these are, these are big ticket items. And so as you can see, the NFL is very protective of their relationships with these sponsors. And so they have to make sure to protect their brand, which is the Super Bowl.
So in the event that I have, let's say I own my city's largest and most popular bar, and I am going to have my 17 TVs all on the Super Bowl, and I'm advertising that this is the place to go for the Super Bowl. I'm making money off of it because people are coming in and buying my food and beverages. Is that legal?
No. So, well, it depends. Obviously, you're not an authorized sponsor, so you don't have permission to use that logo. And if you are a business that is using that brand or that logo or the term Super Bowl in your business, then you're probably going to get a very quick and prompt cease and desist letter from the NFL because they take that very seriously. They're going to come after anybody that is trying to benefit from that Super Bowl brand and goodwill. And a lot of businesses will get around that. There's all these creative ways to do that. And, obviously the big game
right.
or, and the NFL actually tried to register the term big game when they caught on that people were using that instead of Super Bowl. And they had a lot of people oppose their application and they eventually abandoned it.
But why wouldn't the NFL... It seems like maybe the NFL would get more publicity out of the game if people hosted Super Bowl events.
unless you have millions and millions of dollars to as a paid sponsor to use the brand. And they don't want this name, the brand, to be diluted by having anyone and everyone be able to use it for free. And so you would have to get into some kind of an economic relationship with them to be able to use it. And that's how they protect their biggest revenue generator.
Yeah.
Ensure that not anyone can use it.
Does the NFL have the resources to go after every bar in the country or a restaurant?
They have a lot of money. And so, they have a pretty hefty legal team that's ready, willing, and able to start sending out these cease and desist letters to anyone that they believe is even remotely infringing on their mark. And so they adopt a very broad definition of infringement. So if there's any way that they think you're profiting from that brand, from that mark, then they're going to come after you. And you can always still refer to it, like you just said. You could, before we came on, if I want to say I want to have a Super Bowl party at my house, that's different.
Well, that was my next question. Is going we're now switching from business or commerce, where I am profiting off of hosting a Super Bowl event, versus then a personal event where I'm bringing in 10 or 20 people from the neighborhood. And so, all right, I'm bringing in a group. I am probably not going to profit off of this event. And is that legal?
Yeah, you could say, you can use the name in an editorial way, or if you're going to say, I enjoyed watching the Super Bowl, or I'm going to have some friends over to my house to watch the Super Bowl, or I'm going to have a Super Bowl party. And as long as it's not, you're not profiting from it because it's not intended to be part of an advertisement for a business. If you were to say, for instance, hey, come over to Steve's Deli for some Super Bowl sandwiches or something, then that's a different story. But if you're just talking about it in an editorial type of way, where it's not tied to advertisement of a business, or you're not profiting from it in some way, then it's fair game.
And I think there was a legal term that you used when I said before we went live that if I were to just use it in conversation with, say, between you and me, I forget that term, common use?
It's just fair use.
Fair use.
You could use certain terms that are fair use that you can say in everyday. For instance, I can easily say, I enjoyed the Super Bowl halftime show. They're not going to come after me for infringement.
I missed the Super Bowl halftime show. So, is there anything else you want to add? So really, in a nutshell, this was how a major league player protects its brand. And is there anything else you want to add to this that listeners may want to be interested in?
Just understand that when you have a brand as big as the Super Bowl, or an owner, trademark owner, or an entity such as the NFL, where there's so much money involved, anytime they catch wind of the use of something that's similar to or tied to their brand, they're going to probably run in and register that as well. So, just as a fun fact, they've already registered like Super Sunday, Game Day, Back to Football. Like, there's all these terms that they have already made a claim to, and there's hundreds more.
Yeah.
And so they also register not just in one, because as you remember, there's a different classes for registration. So they've got numerous applications for Super Bowl related terms that cover all types of things like, clothing, toys, sports equipment, entertainment services. So they really do cover everything that they possibly can to make sure that nobody uses their name.
I think this would be pretty interesting to look up, is how many trademarks the NFL owns.
They own hundreds of trademarks.
I would think so. And now to bring this all back down to a local, even a consumer level, someone who wants to start their own business and trademark that business and trademark a slogan, and start thinking outside the box of what are the other slogans that people are going to describe my business,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and trademark those. It may not be my slogan. The big game is not the NFL slogan,
Right.
but
We all know what it means, right? Yeah.
that's right. All right. By the way, a little piece of trivia. This a
Yes.
fun fact. Because my producer Jonathan's over here in my studio. We were talking about the Super Bowl here just a minute ago. Can you name the group or artist that has performed at the Super Bowl halftime more than any other group or artist?
I saw this somewhere. Could it be? I can't.
Do you remember
Is
the?
it?
Do you remember
Was
the?
it?
Go ahead.
God, I don't know why I wanted to say like Justin Timberlake or something.
Well, he's been there.
Janet Jackson? No.
No. Do you remember the singing group Up With People?
Yes.
Yeah, that kind of very, very happy
Group
family.
Yeah.
They five
No
times.
way.
5 times.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Oh.
There you go. Hey, if
I
someone
never
wanted
would
to,
have guessed.
yeah, if someone wanted to reach out to Susana Mahady, they had questions about trademarks, not only the NFL or whatever, but specifically about maybe they're thinking on starting a business or adding a slogan to their business. How can they reach out to you?
You can find me on my website, which is mahadylaw.com, and that's spelled MAHADYLAW.com, or you can email me directly at smahady@mahadylaw.com.
That's Susana Mahady. She's our trademark attorney right here on the About Mansfield Consumer Advice Series. We do this every Wednesday. Susana, let's do it again next week.
Let's do it again next week.